The most anticipated anime this fall, Chainsaw Man. Now that the season is over, let's see which episodes live up to the hype and which ones almost killed it. Now before I start, let me let you guys know this. I'm going to be comparing each episode, so there's going to be a reason why some episodes, it might not be B tier like in a general sense, but compared to the other episodes this season is going to be like B tier, C tier, you know, if you get my drift. So since some episodes in my opinion are clearly better than others, that's how I'm gonna run the tier list. So alright, so starting from episode 1, speaking of B tier, episode 1 is B tier. Now after rewatching episode 1 with the first 10 to 15 second scene with the door and everything, Denji's dream, I even realized this until going back into episode 1 that he actually woke up from the same dream with the door and everything like that in episode 1, and this is even before he was fused with Vegeta. So that's actually crazy. He's been having this dream for a long time then, which leaves me wondering, why did he have this dream in the first place? You know, what caused it? Maybe because he's been around Vegeta for so long, that's why. So it's like he was already linked to his pet devil even before the fusion. But yeah man, other than that, for most of this episode, Denji really just been down bad, like with debt, potential heart disease from his mother, being broke all the time, and to top it all off, no girlfriend. It really was just to summarize his life before everything changed, you know. And the reason why, probably the main reason why is B tier for me, is probably because how predictable the episode was. And what I mean by that is the scenes weren't truly like surprising for me. Like there wasn't no like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened moment, you know. And that kind of plays a big factor for me when it comes to episodes that are not really much for A tier, but definitely for S tier. That plays a big role. And you're gonna notice that when I put whatever episodes onto S tier. Now episode 2, it's also B tier, you know. So they did, episode 2 was mainly introducing the main supporting cast, you know, introducing some comedy elements into the show, seeing how most of the comedy is going to be basically Denji's interaction with his teammates and also like every female character in the show, you know. But the actual crazy part about this episode was how it really showed Aki and Denji's like development, like their subtle friendship developing throughout the show. Because in this episode, Aki was really hating on Denji for no reason, throwing him into little trash. But the main thing I realized from their first interaction is like I remembered how Denji kicked Aki in the nuts. So I'm wondering if that's what led to the little game in the end, in the final episode, kind of having like kicking nuts as basically the symbol of their friendship, you know. It might be, to be honest. I think I'm onto something with that one. But yeah, the reason why it's B tier, right, is basically the same reason as episode 1 potentially. Like everything about the first 2 episodes was good, but nothing was really like spectacular or eye-popping to like fully remember. I actually had to like look back to like appreciate some moments. And I guess in my head, when I think about A or S tier episodes, is like you just like remember those moments, you know what I'm saying? Like you just like the moments are so good, you can just recall that memory or that moment happening. And since I forgot like a lot of stuff that happened in these 2 episodes, that's probably the main reason why I have these 2 as B tier. Now with episode 3, I originally had it in my head is originally A tier, but I'm thinking about putting it into B tier. I'm gonna talk about episode 3 and like decide in the end. But yeah, for episode 3, this episode like revealed a lot of information. Like we learned how power scaling worked in this show. We learned that boobies make Denji stronger. Seems like to me every time he mentions about copping a feel, talking about anything about breasts, he gets like a power boost, a power up. Because this man, if you've noticed, like every time he mentions it during the fight, he literally started becoming badass for some reason. like for some reason, like testosterone takes over and he just gets a power up. We learned that if you take Power's cat, even if you're half dead, she will listen to you. Like, come on. You just let him take your cat like that? You literally let this devil who's bleeding out, like arm missing, just one arm snatch up your cat and you're just gonna let him talk to you like that? Like, if you don't just beat his ass, like, come on, Power. There's no way that this guy who's bleeding out, dying, just like you just let him take your cat like that. And finally, the craziest thing we learn is that Denji values boobs over Pochita, his pet devil. He let her disrespect his pet devil like that, talking about, oh, he's dead, and like, what are you talking about, he's alive and stuff, like, you're just coping, like, what? And then he just out here like, like, what type of response is that? Like, she just disrespected like the only thing that ever mattered in your life, the most important figure, the only character that's actually care about you, and you just disregard the disrespect just to cop a feel, bro. Come on, Denji. You gotta be better than that, man. Bros before hoes. You gotta remember that rule, man. Now, the reason why I'm debating if it's A or B tier is because it did have that badass fight scene with the Bat Devil and Denji. It did have, like, I didn't expect it. Let's see, was there any unexpected moments? Was I surprised at anything? Or like, was anything... You know what? I'm gonna keep it A tier for now. Because Denji, Power just portraying Denji like that, it was a little shocking, I'm not gonna lie. But you know what is no debate? Episode 4. Episode 4 is A tier, and it's not because it's my most viewed video. Okay, if I'm being truthful, it might have some influence, you know, but truthfully, episode 4 is truthfully A tier. Like, in this episode, we learned about devil contracts. The leech devil was so unexpected. That shit was actually crazy. Like, for the first few minutes when Denji was fighting the leech devil, I was wondering like how he's gonna get out of that situation, because that man had like a tiny chainsaw bleeding out and everything, and then the leech devil just like blast through his chest. So like that was crazy and ridiculous. Like, I can't believe they had Denji fight like literally like seconds or like a few minutes after fighting the Bat Devil. So that's one of the reasons why it's A tier. But another reason is really because they had like a great transition from like an intense battle to a top tier slice of life with Power moving in. Like, this was Denji's chance to achieve his dream, which low-key led to Power exposing Denji as a beta male simp. Crazy how this episode exposed how much of a simp Denji is. He deadass was just complaining about Power moving in and the mess she was making and everything and the trouble she's causing. But once she pulled up in his face and talk about the deal they made, his whole attitude, everything changed. That's crazy. This man literally exposed himself. That's literally the definition of a simp. Crazy. Look, we got him in 4K, 21 minutes and 5 seconds. He was saying how she's a shit devil, and then boom, 22 minutes and 24 seconds, she's an angel. A little over a minute, and he changed his whole attitude, everything, his whole perception, his whole worldview, just over 1 minute. That's all it took for Power to expose him as a beta male simp. But yeah, the transition and the flow of this episode is great. It was really good, from top tier fight scene to top tier comedy. Why is it not S tier, you might ask? Because the S tier episodes are just in a different league on its own, so that's why it's not S tier. If it wasn't for the future episodes that are actually S tier, episode 4 might have been an S tier episode. But at least it's better than episode 5, because episode 5 is definitely B tier. Look, man, if you look at my review video for episode 5, you'll notice I only spent just a little over 4 minutes reviewing this episode. After rewatching my video, I realized that I only talked about like very few and little things. I realized I didn't really have much to talk about in this episode. Like, episode 5 included, you know, Makima giving Denji basically a new dream, like selling him a dream of having her, aka manipulation. I mean, Denji was able to squeeze Power chest at least, you know? At least he got that part. Oh, actually, I just remembered too, this was the episode that the Gun Devil was first mentioned, and when the decision was made to go after the Gun Devil, so that's a plus. But But the other 2 points I talked about in the Division 4 entering the building for the mission wasn't really like that exciting for me. You know, maybe it's just not my cup of tea. Like, truthfully, I understand that this episode helped future episodes out since they needed to go into that building to get a piece of the gun devil, and then of course Denji needed to be motivated just to keep the comedy alive. So I understand the purpose of this episode, but my feelings towards it is not that great. So, but at least it's better than episode 6, you know. Oh my god. Okay, so it definitely didn't help episode 6. The number one reason why it is C tier for me is because it is the sole reason, it is the number one reason. It's because it made me hate the goat Kobani. It's as simple as that, man. What else can I say? The moment Kobani stabbed Aki, that was the trigger that caused me to call her the worst type of character in existence. Words that I regret to this day still. You can even see it in my episode 6 review video. Like, that has to be like, it might be the worst video I made on my YouTube so far, if I'm being truthful. Like, if there was a video I would like to delete, it'd probably be that one. The reason why I kept it up there is because I guess to show the evolution of on my previous perception of Kobani and then my future perception of Kobani and how it drastically changed. And I think showcasing my thoughts of her from this episode, and then you see my future thoughts, and like especially episode 9, yeah, I think that's great content to see the change, like the drastic change. To be honest, the only thing that's saving it from being D tier, really, we learn important information about Aki's sword and how important it is, especially how it affects his lifespan. But yeah, overall, there's nothing else to talk about in episode 6. Like, it's lucky it's in C tier right now and not D tier, which leads to the actual D tier episodes. Episode 7. Look, man, there is a reason why I don't have a review for this episode. The second half of this episode really turned me off, like big time. Like I said earlier, some stuff in Chainsaw Man is just not my cup of tea, you know? It's just not for me. Like, when it gets to like the extra stuff, like the wear stuff, like, nah, man, I'm not that guy for that. Yeah, but like, okay, wow. So now that I'm actually looking into my tier list so far, 7 episodes in, no S tier, 2 A tiers, 3 B tiers, 1 C tier, and a D tier. Okay, this is like in the Chainsaw Man right now is like going down the road of like being just a decent anime or not even that good. But luckily, in the final few episodes, Chainsaw Man decided to turn up and show his actual potential, what this show can be. Cause episode 8, man, changed everything. Not only that, it was just the second half of the episode that displayed greatness. So much stuff was happening back to back to back. My brain needed time to process the chaos. Like, bro, from Makima and all the other devil hunters getting shot up to Katana Man showing up while the gang was chilling, eating food and shit. Like, that was crazy. Like, it was like no hesitation from vibing to chaos. That transition was ridiculous. Like, I didn't expect Aki to use the sword so soon. Literally 2 episodes ago, episode 6, Himino didn't want him to use the sword no matter what. Even when they were in a dire situation, it seemed like they had no other choice. Even when time was running out and they had no plan. Like, what would they have done if Denji didn't decide to like jump in and use his chainsaw powers? But speaking of Himino in this episode, I'm not gonna lie, the writers kind of did her dirty. Like, I can't believe they decided to make the first half of the episode about her making a deal with Denji to help each other out, and then not let her make it through the same episode, sacrificing everything to use the full power of the Ghost Devil just for the Ghost Devil to get one-shotted by the Snake Devil. While watching this episode, I seriously didn't know how they were going to survive this situation. That's why it's S tier. Okay, now episode 9. Do I really need to explain why this episode is S tier? This is like the best episode this season. Debatably episode 11. I'll talk about that once I get to episode 11, but there's a reason why it's the longest review video I have on the channel. And the number one reason why it is the longest review video and the reason why it's S tier in the first place, to be honest, is because the 2 characters taking the spotlight, Makima and Kobani. This episode is basically the reason why episode 6 is C tier for me. Like, it ruined the reputation of the GOAT. Like, bro, you don't understand. When I was watching watching episode 9 and I saw Kobani, like I was speechless, like I was lost, like I didn't know what the hell I was watching. Like, to be honest, I said it best in my review video. I didn't know you had this in you. She did a 180. She is the 180 that Chainsaw Man. Like, she is, like, what? But she's deadass one of the strongest characters in the series. Like, what happened? Like, did she suddenly get an awakening or something? Or, like, how did she just maneuver like that? Like, this episode drastically changed my perception of her. Like, I'm telling you, bro, when she pulled up to save Denji, you know what? Just play that clip too. When she pulled up to save Denji, I was like, what is she about to do? Like, what can she do? And then suddenly I see this. Like, she just finessed the snake devil like that. This is the same snake devil that just one-shotted the ghost devil, and Himeno sacrificed herself to like use up a lot of the ghost devil's power. And then here Kobani just finessed the snake devil like that. And then proceeds to dodge bullets like it's nothing. Like, she could just see the bullets coming at like point blank range. Like, she could see things at the speed of light. Cut off his arm. Like, what is going on? What am I even watching? Like, this is not normal. Like, she should not be able to dodge bullets like that. That shit caught me off guard. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. And not only that, Makima, the most broken, overpowered character in this show, basically just show a glimpse of her power, showing a glimpse of the Death Note powers. Like, deadass, no one could tell me she doesn't have the Death Note, because she's out there eliminating people just from getting their names. Like, that's ridiculous, bro. I'm not gonna lie, this episode really got me questioning everything about Chainsaw Man, and that's probably the primary reason why it's S tier in the first place. Like, not to mention, I didn't even mention the Denji versus Katana Man basically preview in this episode, and Katana Man basically just fatality Denji. Like,
fatality.
You can't tell me that the Katana Man didn't just do a Mortal Kombat fatality. But yeah, man, episode 9 got it. Like, it might be the one. It might be the best episode in Chainsaw Man. Maybe I'm gonna, once I recalled the moments from episode 11, maybe I'm gonna change my mind, which basically means episode 11 is S tier, but we're gonna go straight to episode 10 before that, which is A tier. To be honest, the main reason why it is A tier is because it literally had like 2 of the best episodes before this one, you know? Like, the episode is really good. Like, episode 10 is really good. Like, it was basically a mini training arc episode. It introduced the proclaimed strongest devil hunter that found a very unique way to train Power and Denji using their plot armor against them, I guess. It's basically like a video game where they're level 1 and they're facing a raid boss. I literally gave like a great analogy in my review video. They're gonna be stuck on that final boss event for a while. They're gonna they're low-key entering the final boss area while they're like only level 5. Like, to be honest, this reminds me of when in video games in like a story mode final boss, where like you enter the final boss event area and you're not even high enough level to even enter the area. You're not even supposed to be there, but you're there, and you die like 200, 300, 400 times. But yeah, man, if it wasn't for episode 8 and episode 9 just being like S tier craziness, like, to be honest, it was hard to put episode 10 in the same level when it didn't like maintain the intensity of episode 8 and 9. Like, you know, you could just feel from the start of the episode that like things are slowing down a bit. Like, they're taking their time to like set things up again for episode 11 and 12. But it was a necessary episode. Like, it was necessary for it to be A tier so that episode 11 and 12 could be a lot better, you know? Like, I understand that it couldn't just be like crazy fast paced like for the rest of the season, you know, and it needed like time to like slow down and settle some stuff before that. But other than that, we did also learn that Aki only has 2 years to live based on this episode and doesn't have the plot armor like Denji and Power, which is sad, man. I mean, at least he's getting a new devil contract, the future devil, which is a very, very interesting devil. Like, it definitely has personality. But yeah, but other than that, thanks to episode 10, episode 11 was able to become either the best episode in the show or the second best. I'm debating between episode 9 and 11 right now, which one's the best, because episode 11 really brought back the second half of episode 8 and episode 9 vibes, where a lot of shit was just going on at once. Not really at once, but a lot of shit was going on in this episode. Like if you look back at episode 11, there's so many important moments that are just not even impacting this season, but it's also impacting, it's starting to impact next season too, to be honest. Like, literally in the same episode, they decided to have the mission to go after the Katana Man and the Snake Devil girl, which they mentioned her name, Sawatori, and literally start the mission the same episode and get a lot of shit done too, you know? Like, Aki was able to get a new devil contract that granted him Sharingan powers, which during the mission he was really out here maneuvering like he really embracing his Sasuke role. But now that I think about it, I'd even mentioned this in episode 11, but I wonder if seeing how Aki was able to use his devil contract, like the future devil, seeing how Aki was able to use the future devil's powers just by having the future devil like activate his, I think, left or right eye, I forgot which one. I'm wondering if it's the same thing as Kobani, like the devil, her devil contract is just allowing her to be able to move and maneuver and have like crazy agility and stuff like that. Based on what I've seen from Aki, it seems like the future devil ain't really gonna come out and do anything. It's just granting him the ability to see the future. So it looks like it's not just devil contracts is not just about sending out the devil and the devil do stuff. Is also the devil contract could be about the devil giving you the ability to take care of other devils. It's crazy. I'm just realizing that now. But it seems like it's a similar case for Kobani and definitely the case for Makima. Speaking of Makima really displays some God-fearing energy in this episode. Like, oh my god, hold on, why is his nose bleeding? Hold on, wait, hold on. Yo, wait. When God steers into your soul, Jesus Christ. No joke, I'm convinced. Makima's literally God in this show. She literally dictates everything in this show. All she did was just steer in his soul, and he's like, and his nose is bleeding like he committed a sin for touching her. That's insane. Oh my god, that man collapsed to the ground. Like, nah, that's some God-fearing energy. I deadass just called her. Like, she's really like the god of this show. Like, she's way too broken. Oh yeah, actually, another thing about the mission, where did they find these broken, overpowered fiends and devils? Like didn't you see them go crazy? And then the cherry on top that we get to see from this episode is Sawatori versus Aki, which was so disrespectful. Like, did she really had to pull out the ghost devil? Nah, to be honest, the crazy part about that was how she was able to pull out the ghost devil in its like full max potential, but it took Himeno like everything to even attempt to pull out the ghost devil in its max potential. Either way, Sawatori knew what she was doing when pulling out the ghost devil, and I know Aki was not ready for that from the start. Oh wait, actually, hold on, there's something I did forget from this episode. So one of the main reasons why this episode is S tier is really from this dialogue with Makima and a mafia leader, when they reveal some information about how the gun devil needs some money, so like he exchanged money to like make deals with the kids in Sawatori, which makes me think if the gun devil is like very similar to Denji. Like, I always, like, since that episode, I've been wondering if he's like similar to Denji in any type of way, because if that's the case, then I don't know, man, then he's a problem. Okay, now I did mention earlier that I was debating between this episode 9 and episode 11 on what's the best episode in my opinion this season. my case for episode 9 is that episode 8, if you've seen my review on episode 8, in the end of my review I was saying how it felt like there was like no way out, and I couldn't really see a way they could get out of the situation. Seeing episode 9 and how they were able to like flip the script, turn the tables on them with Kobani and Makima, the way those two characters took the spotlight and took over. That's basically episode's 9 argument for being the best episode. Probably episode 11's best argument. The main supporting cast are like leveling up, and also like things are heating up for the final episode, with Makima getting information, like going to different places to get information, using her god-fearing energy, her powers, just to get whatever she needs. Aki getting a new devil contract and displaying that. Them showing new characters, new overpowered fiends and devils, setting up for the next season as well. The way episode 11 like perfectly set up season 2, and also for episode 12, it was really perfection. Almost like they did a fantastic job increasing the pacing and increasing the intensity for the climax of the mission and everything. So that's probably episode 11's case. But now that I think about it a little bit more, I'm probably leaning towards episode 9. You let me know what's your favorite episode in this whole show, but I think I'm going with episode 9 with this one. Now episode 12, like I said that episode 11 perfectly set it up for episode 12, but I don't think the final episode really lived up to the level of greatness that episode 11 did. So I'd probably say it's A tier. Yeah, I think I'm sticking with that. A tier, episode 12. Now, to be honest, to me, the mission felt like it went very fast. Like, I wouldn't say it went very fast. I would say like it just went fast in general. Like, it wasn't like too fast, but it felt pretty fast. And I think it's because it didn't really feel like, especially Aki, like, I guess because the struggle between him fighting Sorotori happened in episode 11, like the end of it. In the beginning of episode 12, like, it felt like once he got the cigarette, he basically like mopped the floor with Sorotori. And in a similar case with the Katana Man versus Denji, you know, like, I feel like Denji just got a bit smarter from his training, and because he knows, and we all know basically now, that the Katana Man only has like one finishing move, like Denji just basically used that against him. So like the fights were like cool, but I think the aftermath was really what helped this episode become A tier, and what made it so good was basically the aftermath of the mission as they were preparing for the next season, because they did do a good job leaving us wondering about important questions, like why are they after Denji in the first place, like who is the gun devil really, what he really wants, what is the meaning of Denji's dream, etc. You know, things like that. And they kind of like mention it here and there of like there's probably gonna be answers coming up potentially in the next season that we all want to know. But why isn't that S tier, you ask? Well, if I'm being real, if I'm being honest, like, is it really the same level as episode 8, 9, and 11? In my opinion, not really. Like, it's probably the best episode in A tier, debatably. I'm not sure if it's better than episode 10. Probably it is. It probably is, yeah. I'll probably say it's the best episode in A tier, but it's hard for me to say if it's in the same level as S tier, as the S tier episodes. At best, it's probably borderline S tier, but I'm not sure if I could fully give it S tier. Like, if I could just like leave it like right here in between A and S, I would, but A tier it goes. But yeah, man, this is it. Like, take a good hard look at the tier list. You know, in the comments section, like, leave down below like what you agree with, what you don't, what will you change, which one was like the most outrageous, you know, episode I put at whatever tier. So yeah, man, Chainsaw Man, it was a great season overall. Like, if you notice from the tier list, looking at the bigger picture, you know, I wasn't really too fond with the beginning portion of the season, but as the season went on, like, it started to heat up a bit more, so I become better and better. So yeah, I hope season 2 keeps up the momentum that it finished off, because it really finished off very, very strong. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoy. If you missed any of my reviews on any of these episodes except for episode 7, I haven't really done a review. I didn't do a review for episode 7, but if you want to see my reviews for any other episode, where you probably get a better idea of what I thought about the episode, and since at that point it was like fresh on my mind, make sure to click on the playlist and check those out. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a great day.